Shalom, brothers and sisters. Right now, I'm finna read and show y'all something that can help y'all get a better understanding when y'all reading the scriptures. I say this like how to read the Bible part 2, right? So, I'm in the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, also called Sirach. So I'm gonna start right here. It say Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom. So Israel, God chosen people, he say he want them to be commended, right? He want his people to be looked at for what? Learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn, to be able to profit them which are without. So he's saying the people, he said not only the readers to be skillful, so he's saying not just the people that read it, right? But he's saying also the people that don't have the knowledge to be skillful in that. It say both able to profit them which are without knowledge, right? Talking about knowledge, both by speaking and writing. So he's saying the people that wrote it are skillful in knowledge, and the people that read it are skillful in knowledge. He said my grandfather Jesus, right? This not talking about Jesus Christ. This in the Old Testament. He said my grandfather Jesus, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers. Let's stop right there. So his grandfather Jesus, he said he gave his life to the law. That's the first 5 books, the books of Moses. And he said the prophets, that's the Old Testament. So he gave his life to the Old Testament as to fulfilling the scriptures and living fully for God. And it say reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers. So you see how he said our fathers? That means they only come from our bloodline, right? Our fathers. It only come from them. So if any book you read, if that person that wrote it is not Israel descent, they don't descend from the motherland of Africa, then I don't have to listen to them. It just said the book, other books of our fathers, talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, talking about Enoch, talking about Noah. If it wasn't written by nobody of our fathers that come from them, then we don't read it. We don't pay it no mind. You know, for an example, these translations that came 400 years after the KJV, King James being from the tribe of Judah, that's one of our fathers, one of our ancestors. So if he wrote the KJV, and you see how a lot of people speaking against the KJV, but he from the tribe of Judah, don't nobody talk about these newer translations that's changing the whole context of the scriptures. Y'all got to be aware of that. You know, I suggest y'all read the KJV because it just said books of our fathers, King James being from the tribe of Judah. Translations came 400 years after the KJV, but they all stem and they source is the KJV. They all use the KJV but translated from the KJV. So why not read the KJV? And that's my ancestor according to the scripture. It say and had gotten therein good judgment. So he's saying he was able to correct things the way God wanted to be corrected. He was able to judge and discern the way God wanted him to see it. He said, I got good judgment. And was drawn also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom. So his grandfather Jesus, he ended up writing. So he was reading the scriptures, then he ended up writing scriptures. So that's some people in the Bible. You got King Solomon. He wrote scriptures, right? That make you a scribe. It say to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things. So he said they desirous to learn. He said he wrote this for them. That's his target audience. He said he wrote this for the people who desirous to learn and they addicted to this knowledge. Might profit much more in the living according to the law. So they still kept the law. And then say, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention. So he's saying entreat, that means to ask. So he said, I'm asking you to read this with favor and attention. If I read it with favor, then that means this your favorite book now. I'm reading it with favor. That means I'm not missing a word. I'm not scamming these pages, because Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. So these are instructions. Why am I skimming the instructions of life? That's because most people don't actually believe that is written by the source. So it say, I entreat you to read it with favor and attention. So God, he not asking you to pay no money. You got people charging $100 for classes, $1,500 for classes. But God just said, he said, I want you to read it with favor and attention. So I want you to pay attention. That's it. And to pardon us where we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. I'm going to start right there. So it said we may seem to come short of some words because it's translated from Hebrew into a whole nother language. God said that was going to happen in the curses. So he said, pardon us, we may seem to come short. He said, because we labored to interpret it. So he said we had to work to interpret it. It's not, you can't just read it and say, oh, I know what it means. No, you don't. No, you don't know what it means. You had to labor to interpret it.